The following is a non-profit horror story narration. The story, narrated with full permission and cooperation, is written and owned by the author, who is credited in the subject line and in the description down below, along with a link to the original story. This video may contain some material such as violence, creepiness, jump scares, adult language, and suggested content which may not be suitable for some viewers. Please support the official release, and viewer discretion is advised. The night I spent at the warehouse went by rather uneventfully. I waited to go to sleep until the 5 men were asleep. When I woke up, it was the afternoon, and the other 5 men were talking. When I got up and began to make some noise, their conversation instantly stopped. "So, you're awake," John said with a slight smile. I didn't reply, just looked around at the others. "We were just discussing our next move." "Is that so?" "Yeah. But before we get to that, this here is Eric," he said, pointing at the drunken-looking man. "This is Brock." He was now pointing at the other man that kidnapped me. "And these two are Jacob and Joseph." Now he was pointing to the 2 younger ones. "So what's our next move?" I wanted to keep the conversation moving. After all, the faster they started to trust me, the easier things would be. "We need to steal some stuff and kidnap someone," Eric said. John looked at him with irritated eyes. "We'll be splitting up. Brock and I will be doing the kidnapping. You 4 will be stealing the equipment we need," John said, turning back to me. "Fine with me." "When do we do it?" I asked. "Now," said Brock, staring at me intently, as if analyzing every single part of me. Everyone nodded in acknowledgement. We all headed out of the warehouse, locking it behind us, and each group getting into a car. I could sense Brock staring at me right until we both drove away, hanging in different directions. I slowly started to see signs of civilization the more we drove. Then suddenly, we entered the city. It was the nicer part of the city too. The thought occurred to me, I can make a run for it as soon as the car stops. But then I remembered the disturbed smile on John's face when he said, once I joined, I could never back out. So I decided to stick with him for now. We parked in the parking lot of some tool shop that looked like it was closing. "Here's our stop," said Eric, as he handed me a knife. "What's the plan?" I asked, curious as to how they planned on pulling this off and getting away with it. "Joseph stays in the car ready to drive off. Jacob stays towards the edge of the store. Then you and me steal the stuff we came for," Eric said as he got out of the car. I was stunned by his decision to have me help him. "Put on the mask and be prepared to do whatever we have to do to get away." He handed me a ski mask and glanced at me intensely. I figured he must be trying to see if I have what it takes to join them. The 3 of us got out of the car and put on our ski masks. We started to walk to the glass door of the store. Once we were close, Eric whispered something to Jacob. Jacob seemed to reluctantly nod at whatever he just said. Then Eric came up to me and tilted his head towards the store, signaling for me to follow him. Once we were at the front door, He handed me a watch and told me to start the timer the moment he broke the glass door. He broke the glass with a crowbar and rushed into the next door, breaking the glass on that one as well. The alarm started to go off instantly, making everything harder to hear.
"Get the money at the cash registers! I'm going to get the tools!"
Eric said, raising his voice so I could hear him. I nodded and went to the checkouts. There were 3 people at the checkouts, all of them staring in horror as I came running towards them. One, which was a teenager, ran to the back, fear engulfing him. The other 2 were a young lady and an old man, probably in his 50s or 60s. He went to protect the young lady, rushing over to her.
"Not so fast!" I yelled, pulling my knife out and pointing at the lady. "Get the money out of the cash register!" I continued to yell as I got a plastic bag from the store. The old man put his hands up as the young lady moved towards one of the registers. "Why are you standing there? Get the money in the cash register!" I yelled at the old man, pointing to the other middle checkout with my knife. He did as I said and started to put the money in another plastic bag. Just so you could get a clear view, there were 3 aisles. One to the left, one in the middle, and one to the right. Each was separate by a few yards. The girl was on the left aisle, and the old man was in the middle aisle. The door leading to the back was directly behind the old man. Behind me were the aisles of different tools and outdoorsy stuff. Once the young lady had finished emptying her cash register, I told her to stand in the corner on my right. Soon after she finished, the old man finished emptying his out. "Now do the other one!" I yelled at him, pointing to the last cash register, which was connected to the wall. The corner the young lady was in was only a few feet away from the checkout. I picked up the bag that the old man put his cash in and walked over to the last checkout. I checked my watch and saw that there was only a few minutes left on it. I calculated the amount of time it would take for the old man to finish, then for me to leave. It was possible, but it would be a low cost. The old man, however, was being as slow as possible. "Oh, you want to play that game, huh?" I yelled at the old man. "You, come here!" I said, pointing to the girl in the corner. She started to do as I said when the old man went for something on his belt. I knew exactly what he was going for, and if he got it, I'd be done for. I lunged at the old man, stabbing him in the arm that was going for the gun. He yelled in pain as I pulled out the knife. "Give me the gun!" I yelled at him as I held the knife to his neck.
All right,"
he said, his pain being evident through his voice. He picked up his gun with 2 fingers and placed it on the counter. I used my shirt to pick it up and toss it onto the floor down the aisle. Then I pointed to the girl to tell her to get the cash. Halfway through, she looked up, and her expression went from fear to surprise for a brief moment. And I could tell she was looking past me. I turned around to see the young man behind me with a hammer. He went to hit my head, but I raised an arm, feeling a jolt of pain as the hammer hit. I raised both of my arms, protecting my face as he hit them with the hammer. Then I started to feel water, or something beneath me, and I fell on the floor. As I looked up, he was towering over me, about to hit me. Then I kicked one of his feet, forcing him to lose balance and fall on top of me. As he did, I had been holding the knife in just the right way, and it pierced through his heart. We both looked at each other. We looked at each other as we both registered what had just happened. His eyes were wide as his grip on the hammer loosened, and I heard the handle hit the floor. I pulled the knife out, and he coughed up blood. Then he stopped breathing. I stared at his dead body, shocked at what had just happened. His face will forever be burned into my memory. I heard the whimpers of the young lady as the old man went towards his gun. I pushed the boy's body off of me and slowly made to my feet. The bags of cash were in my left hand, and the murder weapon was in my right. Shocked, though, I was still focused on the boy's face. His eyes wide with fear and shock. His blood was pouring out on the floor in the store. It was all over me, too. I had the taste of blood in my mouth when he had coughed. Then suddenly I heard a gunshot, snapping me out of my shocked, trance-like state. The young girl screaming soon followed.
"Come on, we have to go,"
yelled Eric as he came out from an aisle, gun in hand. Jacob had come over to check out what was going on. We ran out of the store, rushing to make it out. Right before we left the store, I looked back. The girl was crying and screaming in the corner of the room. The boy's lifeless corpse wasn't far from the left checkout, and the old man was nowhere to be found. Then Eric pulled on my arm and yelled at me to get moving. We made it to the car and were getting in when I realized something. I could still hear the distant scream of the girl. We floored it all the way out of the parking lot and down the road. But as soon as we did, we saw flashing red and blue lights enter the parking lot, followed by the timer beeping. "We got a distance to drive," Jacob said to me as he handed me a blanket. "Cover up all that blood." I didn't even nod. I just pulled the blanket over me and thought about the boy. Once we had driven for a good while, Eric's phone started ringing.
Did you get him?
Eric asked. I couldn't make out what the other person on the other end was saying.
Yeah, he did okay. He froze up after he killed someone. Must have been his first time. Well, first time he was aware of it, at least. We got everything we need for a while,
Eric said. Then soon after that, he hung up the phone. It took a while to get to the warehouse, but we arrived around the same time as John. When he got out of the car, John was lifting up the trunk of his car. Someone was in there, bag over their head, duct-taped hands, and feet. Their body was small, but I couldn't tell if it was a woman or a guy. After all, I was tired mentally. John and Brock went in ahead of us. Then after a few minutes, we all went into the warehouse. Eric handed Brock the sack of tools. I couldn't see what was in them, but to be honest, at the moment, I didn't care. John was nowhere to be found. I am currently sitting in the same bed I was last night, with blood-soaked clothes. I keep running through what happened at the store. It was an accident, wasn't it? I didn't mean to kill him. You have to believe me. I didn't want anyone to die.